Hi, and welcome to The Install. We're Paloma Contreras and Caroline Jadier, and this is where we talk about design, business, and the real life behind creative work, what's inspiring us, what's challenging us, and everything in between.
Okay, and we have with us today the esteemed EIC of Veranda, a devoted wife and mother, tennis champion, and former hard charging beat reporter from Washington, D.C. Since 2008, she has led Veranda, one of her most refined shelter titles, to a circulation approaching a 500,000, guiding the magazine through a pivotal reinvention while deepening its authority in architecture, decoration, and design culture. She came in with 12 plus years of experience across Southern living, coastal living, cottage living, and country living, with a keen eye for beauty and a hand selected team of talented accomplices and an understanding of what drives Veranda's key demographic. She increased circulation in a down market, defying the odds and establishing Veranda as one of the nation's most influential voices in gardens and design. Give it up for Steele Marcoux.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's such a nice introduction. I'm not even sure all of it's true, but we'll go with it.
No, it is true. It is true. I looked it all up. I did my research.
Everyone needs Caroline as a hype girl for
Yeah,
their
exactly.
intro. That was
I
awesome.
need you to follow me around and just,
Well, I
pump
would
me
do
up.
it. I would do it. We're
I
so
love
thrilled to have you here with us
Yes,
today.
thank you.
Thank you all for inviting me. It was such an honor. It was like the most exciting text or email that I'd gotten in a long time. That was like an instant yes. So
Hey.
thank you for having
Oh,
me.
good. Good. You know, Paloma and I were talking, we're trying to come up with topics that interest everybody. And I think we're in a day and age where so many people are doing their own photo shoots. And I assume everybody is like me that you had no clue what you were doing, what you were getting into, and what you were going for when you got started. And there's so many designers out there who might be interested in having perspective of a photographer, a stylist, and the publisher of what they should be thinking about when they're going about this. So we were just super excited that you said yes, because I know there are a ton of people that want to, I mean, particularly you. I think that Veranda is the end all be all for so many people. That's what they're aiming for, to try to maybe do a book. Maybe it's for a personal investment for their website, for their social media, but they all have in the back of their mind, like, how am I getting in Veranda? And so, or any of the other, there's so few publications these days and there's so few opportunities. There's a lot of competition for those slots. So hearing from you will make a big difference for a lot of people and maybe even help Veranda get more of what they're looking for.
Well, I mean, that would be great. But I'm just, yes, I'm honored to be here with both of you. And it is, I mean, you're right that so many more designers these days are shooting their own projects, and it's such a big investment that it's like you might as well try to get the most bang for your buck, as they say, for sure.
Yes. Well, answer me this, because I would love to know from the publishing side of it. Like, let's just assume for hypothetical purposes that there are five features in each issue. How many of those are your ones that you have scouted and you are producing, and how many are come to you from designers or their publicists pitching their projects?
It's a good question. I would say at this point, we are still, if we're looking at the number 5, we're
Hmm.
still
Yeah.
like 60% we will photograph
Hmm.
compared to maybe 40% coming to us already photographed. But then there were some other parts to your question that doesn't totally address. So, um, sometimes publicists are still sending us just raw scouting shots, and we will go back in and send a photographer, send our photographer or somebody around the country, that we work with. And then oftentimes we are try to, consider ourselves in the know, networking all the time with designers and other sort of very stylish folks who know of great houses. There, where we're actively kind of scouting, as you said. Like, I mean, Caroline, I actually physically scouted your house. I drove
You
over,
did.
drove into your driveway, knocked on your door, and said, "Let me in." That's rare. That's very rare. But I would say, so while it may still be 60-40 us photographing versus picking up supplied photography, I would say that it's more like 20 to 30% of the time are we finding houses versus publicists like sending them to us. Yes. And I mean, I don't know if this is actually, I have not fact checked myself on this. I don't know if this is actually related to that sort of 2020, 2021 pandemic related, boom. But we are getting pitched way more projects today and for the last couple of years than we were like 2018, 2019. We were having to be a lot more active in our own scouting. Now we're almost inundated. It's like we can't even keep up. I don't really know. I think it does like some of the designers that we know and love to work with did have, again, like a lot of work in 2021 and 2022. So then they
Oh,
photographed
oh, okay. Got it.
23 and 2024, and then they're sitting. Maybe there's some of that, but then I also think, to your earlier point, people are photographing their own projects so much more now. So then there's
Okay. There's more content.
got the assets. Like, we should probably try to see if some publish this. Versus if they weren't going to shoot their own, I don't, maybe they would just say, somebody will find me. Maybe, I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it does
Hmm.
seem like we're getting way more submissions now than we were 5 years ago.
So it sounds like you're getting more submissions than ever, and there are fewer features, fewer issues. How does one stand out? What are you looking for in that massive pile of submissions that sticks out? And how are you selecting the projects that get put into each issue?
That is like, I don't know how to quantify that with a dollar amount or page amount or time amount,
Hmm. $1 million
million
question.
hour question or whatever.
Mhm.
To the first thing that comes to my mind is we're looking for something we haven't seen before. And I know that's like the world's most frustrating answer because it's like, well, how do we know what you need? But I got a pitch earlier this week, a submission that is a beautiful house. I mean, so well designed, incredible. I wish it was mine. And it almost looked like the designer had designed it such, like, I think Veranda would look like this. They were almost like
Hmm. Too on the nose.
too on the nose. There's a this kind of room here and a that kind, even down to certain textiles that we've featured a lot. It's like I have my this room here and my that wallpaper room
Contrived.
there. A little bit, but it was beautiful. Like, to live
Yeah.
there would be
Yeah.
incredible, but it's one
Right.
of these things where if I could sit down with her, I'm gonna have to say, like, "This is a near miss because this is an incredible house. I
Yeah.
know our readers would love it." But when we are limited by pages and photo budgets and all the like, we're gonna pick something that we haven't seen before. It almost looked like she'd taken tear sheet this I should say, "Oh, it's so flattering," but it literally kind of felt like she'd taken tear sheets out of past issues, recreated, which is a shame.
Yeah. Because I can see that you have to thread the needle of giving your demographic what they want and expect, but also what they're not expecting, but they want, but don't know yet.
Yes, they don't know yet. You're
Yeah.
right, Caroline. Because again, with that same house, and of course, that sounded so egotistical that she would ever have, like, looked back through old brands. I'm sure she just did what her client wanted, right? And it's a beautiful house and the client loves it and that's all that matters. But yes, while I totally know that our readers and our Instagram followers would absolutely love this house, I have to also balance that with, let's show them something that they've never seen before that they don't know yet that they're going to love, that I think they will. And even if they don't love it,
Mhm.
sometimes from the editorial perspective, even like a slightly negative reaction to something is still valuable to us because they're engaging with it. Like, oh, that's not for me. I've never seen someone do that before. Maybe it's not for them, but it makes them think in a new way. And so it still sort of accomplishes what we're after, which is just to get to like surprise and delight them a little bit about decorating.
It's interesting that you say that because I saw a lot of buzz after, particularly after the Jonathan Anderson collection for Dior and Matthew Blasi for Chanel, and
Yes.
that is the like metric is not how well received it is, but how much it's discussed in social media. That's what they're looking at, and it saw all these charts of who's in the conversation, and if you're not being if you're not able to have people have a conversation about it, then you're quickly forgotten and nobody's going to go in your store and buy your bags and conversely buy your magazine or go to see what you're doing this month or this issue or what have you, I
Yes,
suppose.
because it can easily become a sea of sameness. And so it's funny that you mentioned social media because yes, some of that is like, oh, let's see if we can get some engagement that, all too thrown around word these days or whatever, especially about social media. But some of it, if I go back to like a slightly more altruistic motivation or motivation on behalf of the reader, the consumer, it's like, let's, even if they don't want to go buy all that stuff, let me open their eyes and their minds to something they haven't seen before because they may think about things in a new way. Like, even just they may say, well, I'm not going to do that room or I would want that particular textile, but I'm open to a color that I wouldn't have thought of before or something.
Absolutely. I had a conversation yesterday with a client. We're trying to figure out what the best chandelier is for a sitting room, and we were discussing Murano glass, and it was I think it was a feature in Veranda, and I said I wouldn't have said before I saw that photograph that I would ever use a Murano glass chandelier. I would have told you it's just not me.
Yeah,
But that photo made me rethink it and made me
that's really
rethink
interesting.
everything that I've ever thought about Murano glass
Oh, I
chandeliers and
love
that
it.
designer as well. Like they can be so chic. So, that is your job to lead us
Exactly.
where we weren't.
Just even so that
Yeah,
somebody can pull a nugget. Again, nobody's going to do that whole room or whatever. It's just like I never thought of Murano glass in that way or whatever. So we are looking for back to sorry, Paloma, but your original question, like we are looking for juxtapositions or colors or uses of materials that we just, haven't seen before. I think that is it's hard to pin down.
Right.
There are some things that we're always looking for. Like we do like for projects to always have like a clear sense of place. It's something that feels like even if you can't say, oh, this feels like Birmingham or Mountain Brook, it feels like the Southeast or something like that. We like for things to have a sense of place. We like for things to have a connection to the outdoors. That's something that's like very veranda. Even a New York City apartment, we usually feature ones that have like a balcony or a terrace or, a floral pattern inside so that they're able to, somehow bring the garden inside. We like for things to have a sense of architecture. We will always ask to see a scouting shot of the exterior, even if we don't show it in print. We as editors have to have like a grounding of some
Sure.
yes,
Yeah. For the
context, content
context of where you are.
of, sort of where this is and what this is. Those are some things that never change, but then beyond that, when it comes to the design and decorating, it's just sort of like, have we seen, a palette before? Have we seen these textures paired together? Have we seen this artwork paired together? Things like that.
What would you say you've seen too much of? Is there anything that you're like, I can't look at another project with that element or
I know there
whatever?
was a moment in time, like there was too much Palm Beach, like everybody had done Palm Beach and coming out of COVID.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
what is there too much of now?
Well, it's funny you say Palm Beach because we were definitely like, we've done too much Palm Beach. And so we sort of not turned our
Circle
back on it.
back. Yeah.
Obviously, like we are part of Kips Bay, Palm Beach, but now we're planning a January 2028 Palm Beach issue. Like we're
Oh,
like, okay, it's time
nice.
to revisit
All
Palm
right.
Beach
Yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah. It's been a couple of
Um,
years.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a bit. So I mean, similarly, and I think I can safely say this because you can see where I am sitting to record this. Like I had it with like, floral wall covering or chinoiserie inspired wall covering. We just saw like way too much of that. But like, I mean, it's ridiculous to say that, Paloma. I see where you're sitting as well. And so the minute I say like, that's it, I've had it, I've too much of that, like we'll see it in a new way or used in a different color or something like that, and then we'll come back around to it. So I don't know. I hesitate to rule anything out.
How do
Yeah.
you go
No.
about formulating like what you are stewarding in as an editor and from the perspective of Veranda? I feel like from an editorial perspective, that would be one of the most daunting things about your job is setting trends. And, we can all I feel like designers are always like, I don't follow trends, I issue trends, whatever. But we may not be beholden to them, but our clients are paying attention. We need to be aware of what's happening out there. But I feel like in your shoes, that would be a really challenging thing to be like, okay, this is what we're going to be pushing now, or what we're seeing and we feel is going to have a broader moment. How does that happen? Is it just very organic or more intentional?
I would say it's maybe like 75% intentional, 25% organic. And it is, I mean, it's probably the lion's share of like what I do. So
Hmm.
in terms of just planning our edit calendar, we start with big themes and big questions. So for each, if we're talking about print, well, really across all platforms, but we'll sort of pick like an issue theme or again, like a big question that we wanna try to answer through the lens of design and decorating. And we've gotta have at least 6 of those for each different issue. We've got some that we do every year. Like, we always do a holiday issue, that's going nowhere. And then, we March, April time, we love spring, so that's going nowhere. But the ones that are not as, like, super seasonal, sometimes we'll celebrate one specific sense of place. I mentioned Palm Beach. Sometimes we'll celebrate more of like, again, sort of an idea of like, how do you design a house? We call it forever home. How do you design a house that's meant to sort of endure multiple generations? That sort of thing. Sometimes we'll, kind of celebrate something like American heritage design, obviously with America 250th. That's a big theme for us coming up this summer. So we start with a big idea. Then we wanna slice that a lot of different ways when it comes to style. So, like, if we have 5 all American feeling projects, we only want 1 that's red, white, and blue. The others are gonna be, like, very, very different from that. One's gonna feel traditional, one will feel more contemporary. To sort of I think people think of Veranda as, traditional, but we eschew that as hard as we can, and we try to give people a visual mix answering one big design sort of question or idea. But figuring out what the right balance is there, it can be really difficult. There again is where you'll end up saying no to some fantastic projects because there
You have a
too many that are
specific, yeah, thing that you're looking for to slot
yeah,
in.
and or like there's a project in our next issue that comes out next week where I'm not gonna tell you which one it is, obviously, but you may, ladies, look at it next week and think, I'm surprised that's in Veranda. Well, it's serving a very clear purpose that's like balancing the project that comes right before it and the project that comes right after it. So you're thinking of it almost like one would think about a book, and I don't
Yeah.
know that everyone realizes that when they send us their amazing work.
Sure. Well, we've talked about in the short life thus far of our podcast about how to um, create balance in a space and balancing tension. And every time you put something on this side of the scale, you've got to add something on the other. I mean, that's your issue. You're trying
Yes,
to create that balance and tension
exactly.
through
Yeah,
your projects,
it's true.
right?
Yeah. It's
How
very true.
much are you focused as a publication on sorry, how much as a publication are you focused on the paper issue and the digital? I mean, like, are you more digitally focused these days? Or are you where is that heading, do you think?
I mean, it's that is changing. I used 2 years ago, I'd say, "Oh, that changes every 12 to 18 months," and now I'm like, "That changes every 6 to 8 weeks." I mean, it is changing so fast, but for us, for Veranda, print is always incredibly, incredibly important. We've been so lucky that actually to kind of, like, revise or go back to something we were talking about earlier, like, we haven't seen our page count drop, thank God, or our issue schedule drop in a long, long time. So we've been at 6 issues a year for, like, I mean, well over 10 years. Whereas I think, like, in the last couple of years, other, magazines have had to say, "Well, we were at 8 issues, now we're 7," or "We were 12, now we're 9," or whatever.
Right.
So we've kind of been at 6 for a long, long time, and we've been able to, in fact, sometimes even add pages back to the issue. So we're very lucky there. Our paper quality is very high.
Hmm.
Yes.
And
Thank
that's
you.
honestly,
Beautiful.
no,
So
thank
important.
thank our founding editor and also thank Hearst for honoring the agreement they made when they bought it from her.
Oh,
But
nice.
she
Good
put
for
that
Lisa.
into the contract. Lisa put that into the contract that you have to maintain the paper quality. And so, I mean,
Leave it to a woman.
right? And, like, not to go down this rabbit hole for too long, but okay, obviously the reader values that, right? Like, they
Yeah,
can feel that it's heavier, that, they can feel each page in their hand. So does the advertiser. Their ads
Right.
look better on it, and then,
absolutely.
of course, so do designers who are, like, thankfully sending us their best work. They want to be printed on our pages. And so it only, like, reinforces the value proposition of what we're doing to have that good paper. So that is, like, fundamental. But back to the question of, like, well, how much time do you spend on the website? I mean, I can honestly say they have not invested in our website nearly as much as they've invested in the paper. But, these days, I think we're very, very focused on print. We are focused on the website, but we're trying to be increasingly focused on social. And it's funny how, like, social and print are two ecosystems that I think can almost support and dialogue between each other a little bit more easily. Websites have to be so focused on metrics and how do people get. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time, like, going to a website, I'm coming to it through email or through a social link or because I need to buy something or reserve something, but, then I'm still using an app, probably not an actual, like, URL. So I think that, like, I think we're thinking about social in a way now that is a great way to talk about the stories that we're doing in print. And it's taken us too long to get there. But, so we'll think about a story and then we'll think about how does that live on the printed page? Okay, what does that look like in a video? Slice and get a few little micro stories out of a bigger story that we can send out in an email to somebody so that they will come and read the main story. I think we're just thinking about every story across, like, 4 or 5 different expressions or platforms.
Hmm.
Have y'all broken into TikTok yet?
Yes, we are on TikTok. Please give us a like
I
and a follow.
will right now, yeah.
And, we are still understaffed, under-resourced on when it comes to
Social.
social. Like, we're not spending, as
Aren't
much
we
time,
all?
aren't we all?
Yeah.
There's probably no way to spend as much time on social as you could possibly need to.
Right.
I think that would also be bad for our, like, brains and hearts, so maybe there's
Sure.
a little bit of boundary
Yeah. Yeah.
thing that we can do. But yes, we have one social editor. She's posting the majority of our content across, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And Facebook is back for us. It's like,
Really?
What?
Okay. I
No.
yeah.
didn't realize.
Are the young kids on Facebook? Come on.
So that we're chasing the young kids on TikTok and the
The
older.
older generation. I was going to say, my dad is on Facebook.
Right. Maybe he's giving us some love on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or, what is up with LinkedIn? Why are people on LinkedIn?
I know. I've wondered. I'm like, is LinkedIn a place where we need to be showing up more? Because I mean, designers are on LinkedIn, and, like, do we
And
need to be?
people are, as I understand it, I haven't joined it yet, but like posting videos like
Yes.
on
Yeah, I'm
Really?
seeing that
LinkedIn.
Wow.
too.
I don't actively use it.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
really
you
use
know why I don't use it? When I realized that somebody could tell when you look at their profile, like,
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
what
I
do we
know.
need this for?
That's
No,
embarrassing.
right. Too embarrassing.
Gonna send them a notification? Oh,
Mhm.
hell no.
No, 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 no. You can't be creeping on there in private. Yeah, I know.
Too funny, too funny.
Yes.
Okay, well, if you were there are a lot of youngins out there or people that are second career, may not be exactly young, but they're young in their career,
Yes.
trying to figure out how do I engage with Veranda? Really, what's the best way to go about it? And then are there any no-nos for as far as if you wanted to get something published?
Okay. So I think a couple things. Ways to engage with us. I mean, I would say the first thing, it's so simple. Subscribe. We obviously, a lot of our model is built on advertising, but at the end of the day, like what we need are subscribers. And a great way to engage with us is to subscribe so that you become more familiar with what we're doing and sort of what we're putting out. And you get a sense of that. So that's like number one. Taking it a step further, subscribe to my free newsletter, Trade Secrets. I can
Which is
like
so
Yes.
give you
good, by the
guys.
way. I look
So
forward
good.
to it.
Thank you. I feel like I need a little revamp, but y'all are inspiring me. But I send it out twice a month. It's free. It's meant to be just for designers. And we do when you subscribe, we like automatically will send you our guide to the perfect pitch. And so that was our sort of like hook to try to get designers to subscribe is like we'll tell you exactly how to pitch us if you
And
will
how do
subscribe.
they subscribe?
Good question. If you honestly, this is the honest answer. If you Google Veranda Trade Secrets newsletter, the first link that will pop up is a subscription link. I would also say you can go to veranda.com but then looking around on our website to find the place to subscribe might be harder. So Google Veranda Trade Secrets newsletter. It's like 4 words. Alternatively, you can DM me on Instagram and I will send you the link too. And I'm just Steele Marcoux on Instagram, and I spend way too much time on Instagram. So there's that. But so that would get you like a guide to our perfect pitch. And then beyond that, I would say, you know, you can email myself, Steele at Veranda.com. And I will make sure that it gets like put into the queue and or that we send you that guide or send you a link to subscribe to the newsletter or whatever. Um, those are feel like there were some other things I wanted to say about this. So, some no-nos. We go over this in our guide to the perfect pitch, but a common misperception out there is that like people will always ask me, they say, well, what if I posted some of my content, my pictures, my photos on social media? Does that automatically rule it out for being featured in Branda? The answer to that is no. That is not an automatic rule out. I would hate to go out there and tell designers you can't post your own work on your own social media. That's bananas. You guys need to be posting your work on social media. It's a great marketing platform for you. We're going to tell your story in a different way than you're going to share it on social media. Now, I get super excited when a designer says like, I haven't even posted these on Instagram yet. Yeah, we do get excited and that would be great. But, or if you want to share some of the content on social before it comes out in a magazine, share snippets, share a
Mhm.
detail photograph, or just don't avoid doing the like carousel feature on Instagram where you show
20,
all 10
20
rooms.
images of the whole house.
Okay, here's the living room looking into the dining room. Okay, here's the dining room looking into the entry hall because that's what we would like to do. We would like to
Right.
like guide somebody through. But if you want to show like a detail or a corner or one image from one project and then another image from another project that has like nothing to do with each other except for that it's yours, like that makes all the sense in the world to me. So that's definitely I want to like get that out there and be very clear. The other like kind of no-no is, you know, we just get so disappointed when somebody sends us something and we're like, okay, we really like this. We're looking for a place for it. And we're sort of dialoguing back and forth with the designer. Like, we haven't found a spot yet, but we want to, and da da. And if they come back and say, "Oh, sorry, well, El Decor already picked it up, already," and we're like, "Shoot," because it feels like a waste of time. If you're,
Yeah.
we understand that sometimes we take way too long to get back to people. We try to get back to everybody within 2 weeks to at least say, like, we've received this and we'll be reviewing it TK timeframe. Like, we sort of want to give you a response and let you know when we're going to give you an answer. And we do our best to do that. but I do understand that it can often take way too long. But if you feel like, you know what, guys, you've had this for 6 weeks and I haven't heard back and I'm really eager to like send it around, just tell us. Because either A, that'll like, force us to make a decision faster, or B, we may also say, we totally get that. We're not ready to commit to this yet because we don't have a spot for it. We don't want to make you wait 2 years. So go ahead and send it to Eldecor and keep us posted, whatever. We just want to like stay in communication, but that can be a big no-no. There was once, it hasn't happened to us all that often, but there was something in the last like 3 years where we thought, we had said, great, that's great. We're going to run it in this issue. And then we went back to the designer to say, okay, we're ready to get the story process started. And they were like, sorry, I've already shared it with someone else. They're going to run it. And it was such a, disappointment. So just stay in good
Don't do
communication.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, but here's another like misconception. Feel free to email us, me, a million trillion times. Like, don't worry about like feeling obnoxious about that. We get it. That's sometimes the best way to get our attention. And if you're emailing someone a bunch and you're not getting answers, then, it's not on you if like you have to go in other directions.
Do you prefer to hear directly from a designer or their publicist, or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. We can work either way. I think it is more like however y'all would rather work. There are often times where we work directly with a designer, and there are other times where we go through a publicist, and that's totally fine too. We can do either way. We probably might prefer to work directly with the designer a little bit more, but we're happy to work with publicists too. Publicists out there who are listening to this, I love you too. Don't worry. We can
Not
truly,
throwing shade.
not throwing shade. We couldn't do our job without the amazing
No.
publicists who are out there. So,
Oh, absolutely.
They make the
we also
design
love
world go
being in
round.
direct communication with designers.
Okay, well, tell us about your next issue of Veranda. Give us a hook. Give us
Man.
the lead in.
Okay, so this is kind of fun. I don't think we've ever done this before, at least not since I've been here. The next issue of Veranda, which comes out next Thursday, is all new build houses, which we do so much more focusing on like old houses that people have renovated or restored. So this year, kind of under that like forever home theme, we were like, well, how do you build a new house that's going to endure and really last? How can you build a new house that feels both, potentially inspired by a traditional or classic style, but really reinterpreted for today? And how can you build a new house that seems like it has always been there, like that it sort of settles in with its neighborhood more quickly and such? So, yeah, I'm excited about that. And then from that, like we have 4 or 5, I can't remember. But anyway, a collection of houses in the next issue that are all new builds. And then starting in April, or starting after the issue comes out, we're going to publish one online every month for the rest of this year, like an additional to what's in print. And we
Oh,
had so many
wow.
good ones that we
Yeah.
were like, you know what, we'll pick these 4 or 5 to feature in print, and they'll live across all our platforms as well. But then we've got April to December one every month coming out to showcase as
Oh,
well. So,
fun. I
yeah,
will be very interested, in doing that because it does seem like in our milieu, we
yeah,
end up, we do some renovations, but, like one of the renovations I'm working on right now, they're really just keeping some of I don't know what we're actually keeping. I don't know
yeah,
what's
maybe not.
actually original to that, to the house besides the foundation. At the end of the day, it just kind of seems like that's more where people are these days anyway.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
so.
unless you are blessed to live in places like we've discussed, like in Lake Forest or
Right.
upstate New York or places or in Birmingham, or, there are places that have beautiful homes that you can simply renovate. But there's a lot of America that has, doesn't have a lot of architectural foundation to offer its residents. So,
Yes,
yeah, I can
definitely.
see.
It was a great chance too for us to showcase the work of architects, and we do that in every issue, but here we really are able to shine a more direct spotlight on that, including like in trying to select. I hope this bears out when you see it, but In working on the layouts for the issue, we included a different mix of photographs than maybe we would if our focus had just been on decorating because we wanted to show some of those, like, transition spaces, stairwells, hallways, things like that that, really can make a difference in terms of making a new house or a new build sort of feel like it's been there forever or whatever.
Well, I think it's such a timely topic because, I mean, here in Houston where I live, and I feel like in so many other cities, there's a real epidemic of people just knocking down old houses and not giving
Yes,
them a chance, not renovating, not preserving. And I understand our needs as modern families are very different than they were when these houses were erected 100 years ago or however long ago. But what's put in place of these beautiful old houses is not always of equal quality and character. And
100%.
so I think if we can showcase how you can build a beautiful, thoughtful new home that's well designed architecturally, that makes sense for modern living, but is also architecturally significant, hopefully that starts to trickle down and we'll see less of these like big white boxes with the black windows.
Yeah, oh my gosh, the big white box with the black window, the epidemic.
Yes.
Yes. Mhm. Well,
Caroline's house
and
is a perfect example.
it's int
It is
yeah.
Caroline's is a perfect example.
Well, at the goal, the starting point, just because I grew up in old houses and it's in an old neighborhood, I took very seriously the obligation to, and from the get go, was what can we put back in this space because we had to tear it down. It had completely collapsed through the middle of the house. There wasn't any saving it or renovating it. But what could put back that 10 years from now you wouldn't be able to tell it wasn't an original contributing structure for the neighborhood. But it's easy to say that, or maybe it's not in an old neighborhood. But not everything too is an old neighborhood. And I don't know if you don't have good zoning. It's an interesting question. What would you do if you had carte blanche?
It's
But
true.
one thing I did want to say that really piques my interest about the transitional spaces and focusing on that because it makes me think of um, Gil Schaefer's books, which
Yes,
I like to call the Old and New Testament, and
totally.
So true.
his first two books, and also his website that I routinely go to
Love
for
that.
instruction, like a textbook, and the places that I'm always needing some guidance and instruction are those spaces. Like, how do we make these? How do we connect this house and make it cohesive and, seamless? And what have people done before that's clever and works well? And, just those sort of things. So I will be eagerly awaiting this issue.
Oh, well, thank you, Caroline. I was gonna tuck in too a little tip for designers too. Back to the original topic of photography. One question we always get is like, well, what do you want us to if we're gonna shoot either scouting or professional photographs, like what do you want to see? And I mean, of course, we want to see overall shots of rooms, but we do ask people to send us even scouting shots or really more appropriately, we recommend if you're investing in your own photography, like take the time. Don't just tell your photographer, okay, I've got living room, dining room, three bedrooms, kitchen, whatever. Like take the time, even if you have to, I know it sounds crazy, but add another day to go ahead and shoot the pantries and the hallways and the stairwells. And, just because like those are valuable or like even beautiful moments, like one room, from one room looking into the next room, because some of those like vistas help tell a story that just aren't or is a little bit more interesting and more visually stimulating than just like, here's the living room, here's the dining room, that sort of things.
Let me ask you this as well. Let's just say you're going to do a photo shoot for your website or whatever your purposes are with that idea in the back of your head, like I'd really love to see if I could get this in Veranda, and you have not yet hired a stylist. I mean, do you ever publish like or provide a list of stylists that you regularly look for? I guess you could look in the bylines or the notes of to see who, because I feel like those stylists are ones that could guide a designer for the
Totally.
styling of it at least, that would at least be on brand for Veranda, right?
Yes. I was gonna say, again, first thing, just pick up the magazine, look through all the bylines. Now granted, sometimes, those there are way more amazing stylists out there than you will find in Veranda, of course. But if you we do to answer your, the beginning part of your question, if you want to contact us and say like, "Hey, I'm embarking on a big, year of photography where I'm gonna be photographing like 4 to 6 projects and I'm gonna try to hire teams," we would love to help you consult on that. Like, we do that quite a bit. Either you can email us or you can email me or I can put you in touch with our director of visuals, our kind of photo and video director. We've definitely got lists. Like even a brand actually came to us recently and said, "Hey, we're going to photograph our founder's house. Like, they happen to live in this location. Who should we hire?" And we gave them like 6 photographers with write-ups and same with the stylist. So we've got photographers and stylists that we work with in all of the major parts of the country. We're happy to help make suggestions. Again, we're like grateful that photographers would ever think about sharing their photography. I would say designers would ever think about sharing their photography with us, that we'd love to like collaborate and sort of make suggestions where that's appropriate, for
That's
sure.
Sure.
wonderful. That's so generous.
Well, and I think too, when you get hooked up with a stylist who has worked with the publications that you're interested in shooting for, they're very informative and they know and they're going to tell you straight, like, they're never going to publish this, or they don't like this, or they don't like these things, or they don't do a table shot, or they don't, like things that you could never guess. The stylist knows all those secrets, like
And
then
and the stylist, like, just a quick plug for Carolyn Inglefield. I mean, she worked on staff at Veranda for so many years, and now she's shooting for a lot of designers. Like, she has actually shaped the visual language of Veranda, and a lot of that we're still trying to honor and pay homage to today. So, she like, there's a designer out there who will always text me. He's like, "I'm shooting with Carolyn today," and I'm like, "Send me the photos," like, because she just completely knows angles and lighting and styling. I mean, she's not the only one, but she's just the one who used to be on staff. So that's the name I feel most comfortable like
yeah,
flashing
Mhm.
on. But yeah, no, we're always happy to tell you folks that we love to work with, and given whatever area you may be shooting, be it, California, the Midwest, Texas, Southeast, whatever.
okay, cool. All right, so Steele, you always look fabulous. You always have the coolest clothes. Where are you shopping these days?
Gosh, I don't know. Where am I shopping?
Online, or
Well,
do you have a
okay.
favorite brand?
I do have a couple favorite brands. I had the best shopping experience last summer in Raleigh of all actually in Durham, North Carolina of all places. There's
There are
a
a
great
lot of stylish women that live in that
yes, in that neck of the woods
quadrangle.
and the yes. So it's called Vert and Vogue, and it's this like great the point is I had been shopping online like since the pandemic and then went to go visit a friend in Raleigh. She said, "Come, we're going to drive over to Durham for the afternoon. We're going to go to this shop." And it was just so much fun. It made shopping, like, so not a chore. There were these, like, super chic, way younger, cooler folks in that shop who were, like, bringing me stuff to try on that I would have never thought of and pairing things together, and I was anyway, I left having spent way more than I intended to when I walked in the door, so kudos to the ladies at Barrett and Vogue. And
You
now,
know,
like anyway, they'll do, like because I know them now, they're this is such a dangerous habit, but they're like, "We'll do a virtual styling appointment if you want to," and so then they had, like, some big January sales, and I was like, "I'm booking the virtual styling appointment."
nice.
Yeah, it was
Well,
great.
we're all guilty of it. There's not any, he who, doesn't do that, whatever, but throw the post stems like a mixed metaphor. I don't know where I was going with that, but nobody shops in person as much. And
No,
I now have a 16-year-old daughter, and I'm like, let's get in the car and go and try things
go
on.
to some
She's like,
shops. I
she
know.
does not wanna try things on, and I'm like, "Look, why don't you try this on?" She's like I was like, "Well, you can't tell on the hanger what it's gonna look like. You just gotta try a whole bunch of stuff. You'll be
Yes.
surprised what looks good on you. You can't
Yes.
just always anticipate it. So much better, I think, shopping in person. I
And it
don't
was
do it as much.
fun.
It
Like, it
is.
it put the joy back into it. I mean, again, I bought a lot of stuff, but, like, it put the joy into, like, just I don't know, I felt like I made, like, a new friend that day
Yeah,
working with this woman,
sure.
and yeah. Anyway, I highly recommend there are some great places in Birmingham too, but it was just so fun to, like, have that discovery on a trip, and again, like, these days, they can ship me a little box. They could do the virtual appointment and then ship me a box. I've got 4 days to get it back to them, and, I'd rather do that than I also feel like I just make a ton of bad decisions online that are very impulsive that, I get so I spend a lot of time just returning online. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
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 That's
And
my
I have a lot of
husband's,
guilt with that.
my husband's
A shipping and receiving center is what Steven says he runs.
he did not
That's
sign up for that
hilarious.
job willingly, but he now holds that title because,
Yeah.
It's too
you order
funny.
stuff online and it doesn't work out.
Well,
One
still,
quick brand though that I am loving these days is Rachel
yeah,
Comey. Loving some Rachel
Rachel
Comey.
Comey.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I
Yeah, yeah,
know
yeah.
her.
It's
I
been
mean,
around for
Really
a
great
not
while.
her
Yeah.
there.
personally, but I think I know this brand.
Yeah. And again, the ladies at Veranda and Vogue like reintroduced her to me and there's just it feels like modern but rooted in tradition, it just anyway. So, quick plug for some Rachel Comey.
Okay, I
Yeah.
am going to check it out because I feel like I've been there. There's so many great brands, and then you forget about them. And somebody mentions something, you're like, oh, 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 I love them. I love them.
Yeah,
I need
exactly.
to
Well,
check them
that's what
out
happened
again.
at this shop is that I was like, "Oh, I love her," and I'd forgotten about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you travel so much. And in fact, last year when I was doing my book tour, you were the inspiration. You were like the place that I went to in my mind when I was weary on
Oh,
the road. I was like, Steele does this all the time.
God, and you
She
could
does it
see it.
all the time and makes it look easy. Okay, I want to know what your best travel hacks are. And I also want to know what you're carrying in your bag that you put under the seat on the
Ooh,
airplane.
okay. So, I probably need better travel hacks, but my main 2 are, 1, I always carry on. That's just like, you know, literally every time I check, something bad happens, but, so I try to work it out where I'm always carrying on, at least for work. I didn't recently for personal reasons, and it really came back to haunt us, but anyway, we'll get through that. So carry on, and even if you have to, like there are some funny compromises you have to make with that of, like, "Am I really taking my running shoes? Like, am I really getting up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym, or can I leave the running?" Or maybe I can take a walk in my cute sneakers that would make anyway, so it's
Yeah,
harder than it seems.
it
Um
is.
or, can I wear 2 coats on the plane, like, 1 under the other one? So, which is getting harder and harder. It's tough. So there's that. And then I swear by packing cubes.
Okay.
They help
Yeah,
me stay super
me too.
organized. Like, I
Yeah.
have to have packing cubes
You can't go back after you've done that. It really does helps me pack and then it helps me stay organized once I'm on the journey.
100%.
Um,
So I swear by
do you
those.
have a good place for them? Because the company that I used to get them from has gone out of business and I need some more. I left one in a hotel room.
Oh, see, I
I'm
know.
one
I've
down. I'm
always
one man down.
you're a man down. Okay, I'm just using away, like, packing cubes. I don't even
Okay.
think they're the
Okay.
best
I had
ones.
forgotten
I
about
mean,
them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
not a ding against them, but I haven't done much, like, vetting. I wish mine so I the away ones are fine, but I wish that mine had more of a, like, compression component. I wish I could, like,
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
zip a
have a
little bit
double
more.
zipper so that you can
Yes.
have the fat
Ooh,
and then you can sip it down. But
brilliant.
I got all of mine from Paravel or
I
Paravel
love
or
them. I
whatever.
know what happened to Paravel, they're my
I know,
favorite.
Entry Rock. I mean, what happened? What
I know.
happened with her beautiful, like, sustainable, like environmentally
Luggage, I
friendly
know.
and beautiful luggage?
I know.
I don't know what happened. I don't know the story, but I do know that they're not in business anymore. And I have these really nice, silky, well-made packing cubes and there are two zippers. It's the normal size, but you can come back in with the second zipper and it
Like,
squishes it down.
that's brilliant. That's what
It
I
is
really
so
need.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
good.
well, we maybe
So good.
ladies, do we need another side hustle? Just kidding. No.
Well, what are you putting? I find traveling, what I have in that bag under the seat is like,
That is a challenge.
yeah,
Yes.
like
And I've had
military
some
precision of what
I
I need
know,
in that
I've had
bag.
some real, like, some not so great things happen this year. Coming home from London in January, I left my laptop in the seat. They say, "Do not put your laptop in the pocket," and Delta never found it, so that was a big
No.
yeah, that was a big,
Ugh.
whiff
Ouch.
on my part. But okay, so that being said, I always have a computer in that bag, unfortunately,
Okay. Okay.
for me. I've got my bag full of cords, which recently I
Hmm.
was like, "Do I need all these cords? I think I need to edit
Yeah.
the
I,
cords."
I have recently
Yeah, I need to because I
with the
think for
USB-C.
I
I
was gonna say
mean,
we're going to a more universal cord situation. So why am I
exactly.
carrying around like
Yeah.
lightning cord? We don't know.
Same. Same.
I've got like USB, USB-C, and lightning, and I think I only need the one. Um, and then I've got like my other little like bag of lip gloss, I'm a big like my hands
Me,
always feel
me
dry on
too.
airplanes.
Like
I'm
my grandma.
constantly yeah, me too. It feels very granny of me, but so all the, like, kind of moisturizing kit, I would say, is in there. These are not attractive, but they will cancel any noise.
Mhm.
Oh
Very
yeah.
important.
These are
Smart.
often in the bag below the seat. And look,
They take
I've
up a
got all
lot of
kinds of
space though.
I've got my books. I've
Oh,
always
your
got a
I
book.
book in
Oh,
there.
and I was reading on Vogue that books are back in, not a
I
Kindle.
love it. Like,
only read
actual
books. I don't read on a Kindle or an
Yeah,
iPad.
I'm the
I
same
like
way.
the
I've never read on a Kindle, but
yeah.
the young girlies are carrying books on the subway.
Well, I love that. I mean, it does add to the heft of that,
Mhm.
bag, but anyway.
Well, I will tell you, I have digital subscriptions of all my magazines, and
That's good.
that makes a huge difference because I used to buy a huge bag of magazines at the airport, and it
Yeah,
probably weighed 20 pounds. Lugging it
totally.
around with that little plastic bag always hurt my fingers and everything. All
Apple News
right.
Plus is great for those digital subscriptions. I'm reading a lot of
Yeah. Yeah, me
stuff in
too.
Apple News Plus.
It works great, and you can really zoom in on some of
Yes.
those images and everything. That makes a big difference. What were the books that you're reading?
Okay, so I just read this on when we were on spring vacation, Family of Spies. Y'all, I cannot recommend this book enough. It is so good. I'm a kind of history person. I'm reading two like true stories. So this is a true story about a woman who learns that her family has this very like difficult and challenging past as pertains to World War II, but it also unites the European and Pacific theaters in a way that I had never considered before. So I highly recommend Family of Spies. It's very good. And then I'm coming back to this book which I started before spring break called Furious Hours: Murder, Fraud, and the Last Trial of Harper Lee. So this is like a little closer to home. There was like a serial killer in Alabama in a man in late 70s, and Harper Lee covered the trial, but she never finished about it. So this other writer has come along and like kind of told the story. It's great. It's so good. To be honest, it's this one's better written than the first one, but the first one is will blow your mind that like is a true story. So anyway.
Oh, wow. The first one's a true story, or the
Both
second
of
one
them
is
are yeah, both of them are true stories. So, like, Family
nonfiction.
Ties, true story, well written, but not the most, like, amazingly well written. This one, Furious Hours, also true story, and this woman, Casey Stepp, is, like, a New Yorker writer, and it is, like, really, really well done. So,
I'll
Awesome.
have to add those to my list. Those are great
Yeah.
recommendations.
Plum is a big reader.
okay, yeah,
I've got to
very
Well,
get on it.
I
I
would
got to
like to
get
be a
on it.
bigger reader, but I enjoy reading. I don't always have the time. I can read on an airplane and I'll try to read before I go to bed, but I get 2 pages in and then I'm lights out. So
I'm the same way. I get so frustrated.
I'm the same. I've started reading on weekend day mornings because I can't read at night
yeah.
anymore. So
Yeah, I
sometimes
can't.
if there's like either a Saturday or a Sunday where I could stay in bed a little bit, and I read because I'm like, oh, I'm not awake enough to like read for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm like just like my mother and grandmother before, if in the evening, if I have my feet stretched out, I'm gonna be asleep in like 10 minutes.
Oh, me too. Yeah. I
Like,
haven't
whether
always
it's a
been that way,
book, a
but I
TV
am
show,
now.
or anything, I have to sit up straight or I'll never make it. I'll
I
never
know.
make it.
It's true.
Um,
Ladies,
okay,
thank
well,
you for having
Thank you
me.
so
yeah,
much. This
yeah,
has been
we've
so
loved having
fun.
you. You
I can
really
gab
have
all
done us
day.
a solid, a big favor. It's a huge honor to have you on here.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. And
I hope I
everybody's
said
going to love
something
this. This
worthwhile.
is great and great intel for
Okay,
sure.
well, I hope so.
Absolutely. All
Definitely.
right.
Anyway,
All
thank you
right.
for having me. It was so
Oh,
much
Thank you so
fun.
yeah.
much, Steele.
Hope to see you soon.
I know this is like pitiful that this is how we get to see each other,
I know.
All right.
but at least we got to do this.
Yes, exactly. Thanks so much. All right. Have a great
Okay.
weekend.
Happy
Thank
Easter,
you. You
everybody.
too. Bye.
Yes, y'all too. Okay. Bye bye.
Okay, so we have our listener question for the week, and it comes from our friend Palmer Weiss, who is a fabulous interior designer in San Francisco. And she left a sweet comment on one of our clips from a past episode of the podcast recently, asking for us to share our beauty or skincare routines. And this is an area that both Caroline and I really enjoy and are passionate about. So we thought it might be fun to share the deets of what we're doing. So, Caroline, we'll start with you. What are you doing on a daily basis, like AM, PM routine? And what are you doing next for like monthly or quarterly maintenance or, extra treatment to boost your skincare health and glow?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a long list, and let's just say I have a side instead of a side chick, I have a side card. um okay, so here's the deal. AM, PM, not too much difference. I start with, as you know, we've talked about the toners. I've got like
Mhm.
4 essences. These are better if you can spray them on because it goes more quickly, but just drenching my face with water. And then I go from thinnest to thickest and I end with a milky toner. Okay, and then I go in with my serums, and I have 2 that I'm using right now. One is volufiline Korean thing that's supposed to be really good to help. I don't know if it's true. I mean, just don't. I mean, I'm gullible as the next chick. So if this is not accurate, just keep moving. Don't worry about me. I'll figure it out eventually. But I use that as the one that you shake up. But then the next regimen that I move into from that is Dr. Diamond's medicine, which is a
Mhm.
3-step process. I only use the 2 serums in the morning, and there is a almost serum like moisturizer that I use in the evening. In lieu of that, in the morning, I use the Veleda.
Mhm.
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's in the green tube. You get it at supermarkets, from Amazon or pharmacies or drugstores, and it's like a German company, and it's called Skin Food. It's in a green tube, and that is my daytime moisturizer.
Okay.
Um, in the evening, before after I put on the serums, before I put on the moisturizer, I use a retinol product.
Mhm.
And I'm also starting using an estradiol cream on my eyes. Okay. That's supposed to make a big difference over time. We'll see. And then after I put my moisturizer on, as I said in the evening, it's the doctor. Hey, stop. Sorry, my dogs are getting restless. After I put the moisturizer on in the evening, I coat my face with a thick coat of Aquaphor. Okay, so that's daytime, nighttime routines. Annually, I do 3 IPLs a year, every 3 months. I do I think it's called a Pico laser once a year, and that is any kind of age spots or dark spots. It removes tattoos. It's the tattoo laser. And then every month or so, I do every other month or every 3 months, I do a PRP or one of the facials that they offer
Mhm.
that in some way is either glycolic or acid or some kind of little needles, things that stimulate collagen production and turnover. And that's
Right.
always changing. It's whatever they're telling me in the moment is the skin treatment. But a lot of those that make your face red for a day or two, and then really what we're doing is just burning off that top
Right.
layer and encouraging it to turn over. Yeah. How about you?
I would say my AM PM are a little bit different. So AM, I'm doing just Kiehl's Ultrafacial Gentle Cleanser in the shower. So I'll wash my face in the shower, and then I follow that with Tata Harper's Regenerating Cleanser, which is sort of like a scrub. It's got a texture, and I'll exfoliate in the shower. And then I get out and I do Tata Harper Rejuvenating Serum, and then Dr. Laura Devgan Hyaluronic Serum on top of that. I use Sunday Riley CEO, I think it's called, like the vitamin C, something CEO gene, something
Mhm.
vitamin C moisturizer. So I use that. And then what do I put on top of that? Dr. Laura Devgan, a PB cream with SPF in it. And so I use that
Mm.
foundation because it's got a
Yeah.
little bit of it's in it, but it's pretty
Hmm.
light sheer.
I like
So
those.
it
Yeah.
makes everything really even. And then at night, using the same cleanser, not the scrub. And then I use what is it? Dermalogica. It's in the movie. Dermalogica, like a mist, a hydrating mist that's sort of like a toner. And
Hmm.
that sort of wakes my skin up and feels really good. It helps all the serums, go on more smoothly and absorb better. And at night, I typically use Estee Lauder, the Advanced Night Repair Serum in the
Yeah.
brown bottle.
Yeah.
It's been
Hmm.
forever, but the ingredients are really good. It's just sort of a
They
tried
are.
and true.
It's
I think
solid.
I've gotten older. My skin is getting more reactive, and I'll like have
Mhm.
stuff going on, like bumps on my forehead. I tried Dr. Zion's medicine and really liked the plasma serum, but one of the others, I can't figure out which one, made me break out on my forehead. So I stopped using. I have to be really
Sure.
careful and just sort of
Sure.
stick things. So I'll do the Estee Lauder serum, or every couple of days a retinol serum, just to boost
Hmm.
that, have that in the routine. And then my eye cream, day and night, is typically, what is it? Valmont. It's called something de Glossier, Glossier de You or something like that. But it's Valmont. It's a Swiss company. I get it from my facial. So I use that. It goes on really well under makeup, but I use it in the evening too. It's a really nice texture. So that's it. It's pretty straightforward. I get monthly facials with an esthetician in Houston named Deborah Michelson, who is amazing. She uses quality product, does a lot of facial massage, and sort of follows more of a European sensibility in terms of aging and skincare. So super thorough. I look forward to those so much because my skin looks great, but I love her, and it's sort of like a therapy session. It's a nice hour to spend each. I do that monthly, and then I've started doing this thing called Gold Infusion, which is sort of like a PR, but like
Hmm.
lighter version. I think we've talked about it before. So they um, draw your blood and then
Yeah.
blend that. You infuse it with uh, hyaluronic serum and Dysport,
Hmm.
and I forget what else, but they stamp it into this. There's really no downtime. You're a little dry, but the glow is incredible. So I do that, once every quarter. And I haven't done lasers yet. That's on my list. The lady that does like my Botox, she said I should do, she's a nurse practitioner and does all kinds of things, but she recommends what is it, the BBL and Moxie
Yeah.
combination. But I haven't done it yet.
BBL, I mean, what I'm doing is BBL. When I started doing it, they called it IPL, and I haven't changed my vocabulary on that. But yeah, they look at if you look at people, I guess they've studied that over a long period of time. And with an IPL/BBL, if you do 3 a year for like a decade, like the people that do those, um, if you look at their pictures from the start of the decade and the end, they don't look any different. Like it's the one thing that you can do to kind of like maintain your collagen structure underneath your skin. But I guess you have to do 3 in a row to get it to really take or to get deep enough or to, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I drank the Kool-Aid. I
Well,
do it 3 times a year, every year.
the scheduling is what's challenging, I think, because there is downtime and you're red and like you have that sort of sandpaper quality to your skin afterwards as it heals. Was that
Get that way.
no? Okay.
I think the first time you do it, you can expect that. What does happen is anywhere you have a spot on your skin, any kind of sun damage, it
Mhm.
will kind of turn into these tiny little black dots, okay, on the skin, and it'll be there for several days until it just goes away. So it
Mm.
kind of brings things to the surface, and they are these little like you would need a magnifying glass to see the differentiation amongst those little dots. But so it looks like just a darker freckle for, like a week and then it goes away.
Yeah.
But my face doesn't, I don't feel any different after I do it now. It really doesn't. I'm sure I remember when I first got started, it was a lot different, but now,
Okay.
you know, the old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be. Anywho, okay, well, that's a lot. If we tried to link all of that, it would be like pages.
I know. No, it is a lot, but that just goes to show I really do believe in taking care of one's skin. I
Yeah,
will say I'm lucky, like genetically I have good
me
skin. I've
too.
never had super problematic skin, but I've always, even when, I was a teenager and was just using like Neutrogena liquid soap and Olay
Mhm.
moisturizer, like I always made it a point to take care of my skin from a young age. I've never
Me
slept
too.
in my makeup. I
Me
just
either.
feel like you get one face and you've got to take care of it. As I've gotten older, I'm starting to introduce more treatments, more serums, like
Yeah.
more, it just takes more maintenance, but you get out of it what you put into it, just like anything else.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I remember um my college roommate and I were talking about that when we would our year in Paris, we had to spend the night together whenever we went out because the metro stopped running at midnight, and if you stayed out after that or like walking back by yourself
Mhm.
when we didn't have cell phones, you had to
Right.
just like stick together, but just like washing our faces after a night out, and we both always used Olay oil of Olay
Oil of
in the
Olay. I
pink
remember when it's called oil of.
bottle. Yeah, I mean, but even back in our wild crazy college days, we were still coming in and washing our faces and putting lotion
Mhm.
on before we
That's
went to bed. So it's important, makes a difference,
right.
I think.
Well, it's been so good
Okay.
being with you.
Yeah, I love it always being with you, Paloma. I hope this next week is really wonderful and delightful for you. You deserve
Oh,
it.
thank you. And same for you. And I will look forward to seeing you next week.
Hey, yeah, me too. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, guys, that's all the time we have for today. But we'd really love to connect with you. Send us your questions, anything from design to fashion to culture and everything in between. Send emails to questions at the Install Podcast or just DM us on social at the Install Podcast, at Paloma Contreras Design, or at Caroline Gidier Design. Each week, we'll select one listener's question and feature it at the end of the episode. And if you like the show, be sure and like, rate, and review us. That really helps us get the show off the ground. This is The Install. We'll see you next week.